So we have some deposition transcripts from Blake Lively's deposition. Don't get too excited. It's only a couple of pages. And we have some Jed Wallace information, some things that were unsealed today that show some content creators who were, I guess, being discussed in the group, Wayfair group. And we need to talk about Perez Hilton on the docket of it all, because somehow some of you seem to have me very confused and I don't know how we got here. So let's get into it.
F around and find out. F around and find out.
Well, hello there, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of F Around and Find Out. I'm your host, Elsie, and I appreciate you for being here. We have a few things to cover today, but before we get started, I want to address some very, very confusing things that happened in my last video, where a lot of you in the comments seem to disagree with me, which is cool. We could do that all day. That's what we're here for. We don't have to agree on everything. But some of you also found yourself thinking it was cool to say in the comments or DM me or email me, whatever, insults. You called me dumb. You thought I was too big for my britches, whatever you said. But there were a couple of messages in particular. Those of you who were messaging me saying, I shouldn't get it confused because you let me talk about Blake and you let me be big and you let me become a creator and you can take it away, or that you won't allow me to talk about Perez. You only here to hear my Blake thoughts. And again, the word let, L-E-T, gives very much, you little black girl, stay in your place. We put you here and we can stop supporting you. And before I address that nonsense, everybody who genuinely supports me, thank you. I appreciate it. If you feel like you let me be me, I don't have time to do a tutorial of how to unsubscribe or block my account, but there's a way you can figure it out, I'm sure. If you feel like you made me, find your way somewhere on this app. If you're on your phone, if you're on your computer, if you're on your TV, very promptly, please block me. Please unsubscribe. Do what you got to do. You know why? This joy that I have, this energy that I have, this vibe that I have about me, the way I do things, the world didn't give it to me. You sure as hell didn't give it to me. And the world can't take it away. Does that make sense? If you think, and when I say you, I'm not talking about you guys as an audience. I'm talking about the people who thought it was sensible to comment to me and message to me, we let you be you. I laugh. I'm actually in pain right now. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I posted about my herniated disc. And we're going to get to that because y'all are scaring me in my DMs. A lot of you are like telling me what to do or not to do, and I'm scared by the messages, but I digress. If you think you let me be Elsie, you let me be Elsrich, I have news for you, buddy. Came out the womb like this. I strutted out of my mother's uterus, acting a fool. And my mother hasn't even told me she let me be anything ever in my 30 years of living. So those of you who found yourself comfortable enough to message me that, please, I'm begging you in Jesus Christ's name to block me, to unsubscribe from me, because the spirit y'all have about you is scary and I don't want it. If that's the price, I don't want it. And the fact that you think I made it because you guys are like, just because you made it now, you think I made it because I have 23,000 subscribers? And shout out to all of you that subscribed. But if you think my dream and my goal is to have 23,000 subscribers, that's sad. Sad, very sad. I don't dream of 20,000 subscribers. I didn't dream. I tell you guys every day, I thank you for the subscribers. I didn't do this because I thought I could get 20,000 subscribers. I was doing this when I had 60 subscribers. I was doing this when I had 100. I've never switched up. I've never changed. I do what I do, and the subscribers and the followers come where they may. They leave as they may. If you disagree with me, that's cool. But what you will not do, and I want to make sure I'm crystal clear, there is no way to misconstrue this. None of you let me do anything. And again, I'm going to reiterate that we allowed you gives very much racial undertones, and I won't do it. I won't sit here. I won't take it. I won't be quiet about it. And if that rubs you the wrong way, again, you could follow the rest of the people on their way out. I've told you guys before, I don't beg for anything. And I feel like I was joking when I was saying that. So maybe nobody took me seriously. But what's for you is for you. What's not for you will not be for you. And one particular person left a comment saying, you use followers to sell merch and do this and do that. I'm sorry, do you think I didn't eat before I started making content? Do you think I was poor? Do you think I was living on the street? Like, what do you think? What do you think you did for me that allows you to talk to me the way you talk to me? Oh, before I go off on a complete tangent, the issue that brought about this is you guys thinking I was talking badly about Perez. By the way, I was so confused that I messaged Perez and I was like, "Hey, did you get a chance to see my video?" Because everybody seems to, and Perez and I'm not going to show you the messages because that's private, but I can guarantee you right now, me and Perez had a kiki. We were laughing in the messages. So that's the long thing. That's me messaging him saying, "Hey, what's going on?" That's him messaging me back. You can see a laughing emoji right there. You could see a heart emoji up there. You could see me responding. I was like, "Hey, I'm confused. Did you feel slighted? Did you feel like I was talking?" And then he was like, "No. And even if you were critical, you're allowed to do that. But I understood what you were saying." So if the person I was talking about understood my message loud and clear, where did y'all go so far left and so confused about what I was saying? And again, I'm going to try to say what I was saying in about 2 minutes. And if it still doesn't make sense to you, I can't help you. 100 things can exist at the same time. Let's start with Perez Hilton or anybody can do whatever they want in life on the docket. They could do whatever they want. I could still support said person in whatever decisions they choose to make. I can also recognize that whatever decision said person is choosing to make might not be in their best interest. Even if you think it's funny, even if you think, oh, the judge deserves that, which he could deserve that. The point is, if you're dealing with somebody you already know, you have this information, right? It's called tactics. You already have some information. You know this person might not be good. You know you're working at a disadvantage. You know Blake and Ryan are at the top of this pyramid so far. Even Justin Baldoni, who has lawyers, has been shut down in moments he shouldn't be shut down. So if I'm me, which is what I said 100 times, but somehow that went over people's heads. I said Perez can do whatever he wants. But if I'm me, Elsie, as a person, and I was in his position and I had to deal with the judge in this way, because I know I'm at a disadvantage, because I know it's not looking good on that side of things, I make sure I am dotting my I's, crossing my T's, yes, Your Honor, no, Your Honor, until I slither my way out of there. And then all the shit in the world, I'm going to talk about you. What I'm not going to do is give you a lick of ammunition. I'm not going to give you a window to peep through to come back at me in a way that doesn't help me. There's ways these lawyers write on the docket, and it's funny. We all laugh about it. It's so petty, but it's done in a way where the judge can say, change your language. Does that, I don't know if that's clocking at all. You know, when I say idiot compassion, when Blake's people have idiot compassion and they keep letting her put stuff on the docket, and like, you know, we all make this joke. We're like, do her people like her? Do people even like her? It's the same thing. Watching Perez put certain things on the docket and not being objective enough to recognize that that might not look good for the judge and he should look out for himself is part of idiot compassion. It's like saying, no, you good girl. No, it's cool. Go ahead. Do you. The judge can't do shit to you, except the judge can do shit to you. And we learned this in the military. You need to position yourself. You need to find a ridge. Like, you already know the enemy is coming. You know where the enemy is coming from. You know what weapons the enemy has. So why are you standing in the open, arms wide open, like, shoot at me, come at me? But why would you take the long way when you know there's a back alley? And I know that could be like a confusing analogy. I don't want to keep going on and on about this because we have other things to cover. But if somehow that message went over your head and you didn't understand what I was trying to say, maybe I'm just a horrible communicator, but I don't think I am. If you were just simply confused and now you're clear on it, I'm glad you're clear. If you were confused a couple of days ago and you're still confused now, and you still think this is me talking badly about Perez, the person, I can't help you. And again, me and Perez have no beef, zero beef. Anybody that has beef with me, you better grill it up and eat it. Beef with anybody. My spirit is clear. My conscience is clear. I go to bed and I sleep well, unless my back is hurting. But I don't go to sleep worried about who I have beef with and who I've offended, because I don't do that. I clear the air. I don't stress about that at all. I've told you guys this multiple times. My spirit is clean. My conscience is clean. What I will not do again is I will not tolerate anybody telling me they made me or they let me do what I'm doing. That's what the fuck we're not gonna do. With that said, I hope that message got across. All right, so let's start with the funnies because we got a couple pages from the deposition, and don't get too excited. I know it says 4 pages, but don't get excited. The first 2 pages are not important, and the third page is halfway redacted, and the last page is, but so don't get too excited. But we're gonna get into this really quickly. It is kind of funny, and I'm gonna point out something that I noticed that Blake said a lot, which I wonder if there would have been follow-up questions on that from Brian Friedman's end, because I definitely would have wanted to follow up. So right off the bat, Brian Friedman says, when did the smear campaign end? Ezra Hudson, objection right away. Blake says, it doesn't feel like it's ended. You realize she says it doesn't feel like it's ended. She doesn't say it hasn't ended. She's going off of feeling. Brian Friedman says it's still ongoing. Blake says it feels that way. Yes. Again, feels that way, not fact. Feelings. Who do you believe is involved in this ongoing smear campaign? Ezra comes back again, objection, inserting attorney-client privilege, which right there I was like, well, why would that be attorney-client privilege? If somebody's smearing you, we should all know. You claim it's ongoing, you claim it's like out there, but unless your attorneys are feeding you said smear information, why would that be covered? But okay, let's move on. Then they say you can answer if you feel like what you have to say doesn't cover attorney-client privilege, which they probably coached her on what to say. So she says, I believe outside of what I know from my attorneys, outside of what I know through my attorneys, I believe the defendants are involved. Brian Friedman says, which ones? All of them. And I believe you are. You will notice she's saying, I feel, I believe. She doesn't know anything. She's covering her ass there. But again, your feelings and your beliefs are not fact. Okay. I believe you are. Brian Friedman says, and what is the basis of your belief that all of the defendants and myself are involved in an ongoing smear campaign? Same objection. She can't answer attorney-client privilege, blah, blah, blah. She tries again. Outside of what I know through my attorneys, I believe they coached the shit out of this girl. The act of retaliatory lawsuit and the press that you have done and the statements that you have made about me and my character have felt incredibly retaliatory. Felt, believed. She's covering her ass over there, okay? She doesn't know nothing. What about the defendants? What did they do that's part of the ongoing smear campaign? Like I said, you can already imagine hands were flailing. Outside of the conversations with my attorney, I'm unable to answer that. And right there, I can already imagine Ezra blinked at her or something like, cut it off. And then the rest is redacted. All I'm going to point out, because it's not a lot to go off on, I don't want to make a think piece about this. All I'm going to say is she answered everything with belief and feel. She never says she knows anything. She covered her ass. I'm not going to lie to you. But it also tells me how much they coached her, because I can already imagine her sitting down saying this, like, I believe, I feel. They coached her on what to say. So I don't know how the rest of the deposition went, but at the very least over here, she covered her ass. So the other bombshell that entered the docket today was this group message that was unsealed between Jed Wallace, the lawyers, pretty much the Wayfarer parties, right? Between February, I believe 22nd to February 23rd, where they were discussing some content creators, and Mama made it. Anyway, we're gonna look at Zach made it as well, and Jed Wallace made a post saying Jed Wallace responded to one of Zach's content, not on his platform, in their group text, that I love me some Zach Peter. Anyway, so if you guys remember this post right here, the one that says community guidelines, is when I made this TikTok. I guess it ended up on Instagram as well, about how Blake said she never knew Colleen. I'm going to play it in a second, but she never knew Colleen, but then she was alone, right? And then the next interview when she was with Colleen, she's singing Colleen's praises and how she loved her and she knew who she was and everything. So the 2 videos of mine that made it on a docket. The first one, like I said, that's the one they talked about down there, saying they were using the same tactic, but, mass reporting, whatever, to get it taken down. And then the second one didn't get taken down. I guess they thought that was funny, how I put the side by side. But I don't want to take, the time to talk about the other creators who made it. I feel like they deserve to make their own content about it. I don't want to steal that opportunity from them. But I want to thank all of you guys for being here. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your support. It's not lost on me. I'll keep saying it, that there are 23,000 of you in here. And as long as you guys are here and we're in this little community together, that's just what it's going to have to be. You cannot insult me. You cannot disrespect me. You cannot say whatever you like to me. Disagreeing is completely different. What I experienced in the last 2 days, completely different. So I just want to thank everybody who truly supports me, doesn't hold my opinion one way or the other against me, and understand it's an opinion. Whether you agree or not, can move on from it. And I'll see you on the next one if you come back. Thank you for being here again. Have a good day. I'll see you. Bye-bye.